Our next speaker is the leader of the Charlotte Tea Party, known as Caution, Christian Hine.
Clapping before I even speak. I should just end it now, before anything bad happens. Awesome. Hey, thanks guys. No, I appreciate it, and this is very loud. Can we turn this down a little bit? I tend to speak loud anyway. Thank you guys for being here, and I'd like to thank Scott for setting up and coming up with this wonderful idea to help bring this new liberty-minded movement to the Republican population, to the Young Republicans of Mecklenburg County. And thanks to the leadership for also agreeing to host this. It's very important, and thank you all for being here, because I think as this is so loud.
Stand on the other side. You're in front of a.
Can you hold it there? I think I can speak loud enough.
Yeah.
Here. We'll figure this out. Be my microphone. But I would like to thank everybody for being here tonight. Because taking an interest in politics is so important these days. I think one of the greatest enemies of liberty that we have as an American population today is this lackadaisical population that is so intrigued with Honey Boo Boo and American Idol and these things that have nothing to do with what runs our lives. People that are showing up to meetings like this that are taking an interest in politics being that which really does run our lives. It is so important. So thank you all for being here tonight. As Scott said, my name is Christian Hine. I'm the editor of a local conservative website called pundithouse.com. I'm the current president of Caution, the Charlotte Tea Party. Caution is an acronym that stands for Common Americans United to Inspire Our Nation. And I think what you've heard a little bit in some of the previous speakers' talks is that where we are right now in politics is a new day in American politics where common average people are starting to recognize that the status quo just isn't working anymore. That big government that we've been trying for decades has simply failed us. We are in an environment right now where we have the lowest worker participation rate in the last 35 years of this country's history. The more that these politicians try to get creative, to try to get influence in our lives, to try to determine the outcome of events that are larger than themselves, the more that we will fail as a society. The truth of that is because the economy is bigger than what government can control. Government cannot be quantified. And I think this is one of the primary aspects of an entire school of economic theory known as Austrian economics. It's the idea that economics is actually more of a philosophical matter than it is numbers and charts. Because we simply do not have the resources and the power to control that many people at any given time. One of the very, very early founders, he was pre-Austrian economics. There was a French economist named Frederic Bastiat. He was around in 19th century France. He was alive from 1801 to 1850. Has anybody in the room ever heard of Frederic Bastiat? Awesome. He is known primarily for a work that he did entitled The Law, which I strongly recommend that each and every one of you grab and read. It's about ink that thick, should take you about, and that's with the footnotes, really should take you a couple hours to read, but it really does set up a very base understanding of what the role of government is and should be. And one of his lesser known work, it's known but it's not as popular as The Law. There was an essay that he published in 1850, the year that he passed away, that was entitled The Seen and the Unseen. And I think this is a very basic government premise that so many people have lost these days. There's an allegory out of it known as the broken window fallacy. How many people in this room have ever heard during, say, a natural disaster, a hurricane, that, yes, this damage was horrible, but just think of all the positives that we can get out of this. Look at all the economic development that will occur now that this hurricane has come through. I'm sure that everybody has heard on the news people advocating that. I mean, even crazy nut jobs like Paul Krugman, back after the 9/11 disaster, actually went on the national media and suggested that, you know, it's horrible to say, but you know what? America will end up more economically profitable as a result of this because people will go spend money and will rebuild the towers. And this is a lexicon in the American political structure that has been parroted for so long that I think people have started just to accept it as truth without really thinking about what the underlying pretext there is. And so, kind of predicting the future, Frederic Bastiat, back in 1850, in his essay, The Seen and the Unseen, there was a little story about, and this is the broken window fallacy. We'll take, for example, a baker. He lives in town. His name's Jack Bonhomme. Bastiat used Jack Bonhomme, the good man, the good fellow, as your average everyday guy in most of the writing that he did. And poor Jack Bonhomme Delhomme, I'm thinking of Panthers now, wow. Some hooligan comes down the road and says, I'm going to have a little bit of fun tonight. I'm going to raise some havoc. I'm going to have a couple beers. I'm going to take this rock and I'm going to prove my manliness and I'm going to throw it through that baker's window. Shatters the window. My gosh, the next morning everybody wakes up. Baker comes out and is looking at his business, is looking at his establishment, and is distraught that his property has been damaged. Townspeople start to gather. Townspeople are thinking, oh, gosh, at first this is horrible, there's damage, there's destruction, what's going on? And then somebody out of the blue suggests, well, you know what, wait a minute, guys. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. Because what's going to happen out of this? What's going to happen is that now the baker is going to have to spend some of his money. He's going to hire the window repairman who's going to come in and he's going to fix the window. And that window repairman is going to earn some money. And what's he going to do with that money? Well, he's going to go to the dairy and buy some milk, and our farmers will benefit as a result of this. And then that farmer, he's going to want to plant some corn. So he's going to go to the local agricultural garden center, and he's going to buy some seeds so that he can plant. And on you go as you try to suggest how this damage can actually spark a semblance of economic growth. People cheered. People said, well, yes, this is a wonderful thing. It's a good thing this hooligan came along and broke the window. You know what we need to do? We need to find some more hooligans. We need to pay them to go break every other window in town. You know what? Maybe they could burn down some buildings at the same time. And you know what? Our economy will just be thriving after this. Look at all the jobs that will be created. There's something not quite right about that. And this is what Frederic Bastiat pointed out. Yes, there is some development that will occur as a result of this broken window. That is the seen. That is what we recognize. That is what is open to the public. What we don't see is the unseen, the opportunity cost, what could have happened. That same baker, the next day, he was distraught to find his window broken. He was planning on buying a suit. He was going to go to the local tailor and get himself some nice spiffy new threads. He was going to show off to the women in town. He was going to be a player. He was going to do some good stuff. But guess what? His money was taken. He had to replace the window instead. That money that he spent at the tailor would have also seen that multiplying effect. The tailor would have gone to the dairy to buy some milk or to buy a cow for his family. On and on it goes. The end result is that now, instead of the baker having both a window and a suit, all he has is the suit. The destruction hasn't created opportunity at all. What it's done is it's just manipulated where we view the economic impact. And this, it remains true to today, where we have ideas of like war being good for the economy. It's not. It destroys things. Destroying things does not grow the economy. you end up spending your resources to simply replace what you already had to begin with. This isn't a benefit, this is the status quo. And yeah, I'm limited on time here, so I guess at the end, this happens with incentives, with any of these big government programs that you see. We're going to come in, we're going to spend government money to give you benefit. That's the scene. What you don't see is the fact that the money would have been spent in the economy in other, more free market-oriented ways to begin with. And that is where freedom comes from. So thank you all for being here. One really quick last note. And I just want to lay this out there. I've got 30 seconds. Is thank you for being part of the political infrastructure and for wanting to get involved. You are all individuals, and I respect each and every one of you because you have your own your thoughts and your ideas and your feelings, your philosophy. You are unique to yourself. And once you do the research and you figure out what you believe, you need to go and fight for that with every fiber of your being. And what we don't need to do is give up our individuality and our beliefs to any organized structure, to any team, to any group that thinks they know how more to run your life than you do. And sometimes this is contrary to a party policy or a party structure. But believe me, ladies and gentlemen, you will sleep much easier at night when you go to bed knowing that you have stood up for your core values, and to hell with anybody that would tell you to compromise. Because you and the team that you can surround yourself with are who are going to make a difference in this country. Not going along and getting along to support the power structure that's already in place. I'm out of time. Thank you. Yeah!